implemented. That's what he said. And all these other Republican states, like Tennessee, for example, also said that, yeah, their emergency declaration was approved. Governor Ron DeSantis, Republican in Florida, said that his emergency declaration was approved. Any of these natural disasters you're talking about, the entire force of the federal government has said, yes, we will support you in your recovery.
Let's agree to disagree. Let's say they got the money, okay?
There's no agreeing. No. There's no agreeing to disagree. This is fact versus fiction. This is fact. You're living in fiction. You're living in fiction. There's no. Please, what part of what I said? Wait, time out. What part of what I said do you disagree with?
$700. Wow.
Wait, I'm happy to talk about. First of all, I'm actually going to debunk that first, and then we'll go back to what I asked. I'm going to debunk that first, and then we'll go back to what I asked. The $750 is for emergency expenses, immediate emergencies expenses, those being like food, water, shelter, transportation, and things like that. The $750 is the legal limit. The Biden administration, as part of that specific program with FEMA, cannot send any more. That is the legal limit as set by the law. If you want the law to change, then petition your members of Congress to change it. I would not be opposed to that. But it's $750. They don't have to pay it back. It's a one-time emergency expense. However, there's also other FEMA programs that people can apply for. It's not just that. It's not just $750 and you're good, no problem. Right? What are you talking about? Now, go back. What did I say in that statement that I just made prior to this one that you disagreed with, where you said, let's just agree to disagree?
Talking about California.
Okay, what about California?
Implemented. Let's see. The mayor of LA actually took millions of dollars out of the fire department's funding. Newsom actually turned off the water.
Nope.
Let's see.
You're so it's so goddamn crazy. Yeah, Karen Bass. Let me debunk claim by claim.
Wait.
Listen to this.
Okay, yeah, I will tell you if you stop talking. I'm happy to tell you if you stop talking. Let's go one by one. The idea that there's this spigot that people can just turn on is just like this big flow of water, and Gavin Newsom just hasn't turned it on is wrong. All the reservoirs that were actually open that weren't being used or weren't being worked on for repairs, were full. They were full. And that's coming from data from the California government. They were all full prior to the fire. That's what happened, okay? That's number one. That's fact check number one. Number two, there wasn't a bunch of money cut from the fire department. The original budget, there's a bunch of things going on here, so just listen for a second. The year before this, the fire department made a purchase of a lot of equipment, like fire, like the protective equipment that firefighters wear
as he's talking.
Right? They made that one-time purchase last year. They don't make that purchase every single year. They kind of last for 4 to 5 years. So they made that around $13 to $17 million purchase last year. That money didn't need to be included in this year's budget because they didn't need to buy the equipment again. That's why there was a dip. Also, the reason where there was a dip is because the budget that was approved wasn't the final budget. They put this money into the fire department for the LAFD, and then on the side, they were still negotiating new contracts for the LFAD. So then $50 million was later added to the budget, meaning that actually this year, the LAFD had more money than they did last year, all told. And then you made this lie about Karen Bass being in Africa at the time. She was in Africa as a envoy for the president of the United States. She wasn't just out there. She wasn't on a vacation just having fun. She was there on behalf of the president of the United States. Misinformation after misinformation after misinformation. Okay. Get your head on your shoulders.
While the fires were going on, she took $17.5 million out of the budget of the fire department.
Wrong.
The freaking fire hydrants wasn't
totally
working.
lying.
They were dripping water. The freaking rest
totally
of California was wondering what Newsom was going to do.
You're lying.
Okay, it's all on record, but
source.
Yeah, okay. Source. That's why the American people had to help out Appalachia.
Source.
It's all what?
Stupid.
How about this? Let me
CNN.
I got you. How about this? Well, first of all, provide your source. I'll give you mine. The LA Times. Let me read this article to you.
Go ahead.
Her proposal, unveiled in August, sought $23 million in cuts to the department, which much of it focused on reduced equipment purchases. As I mentioned, this is from the LA Times. Let me read that again. Her proposal, unveiled in April, sought $23 million in cuts to the department, with much of it focused on reduced equipment purchases. But while her citywide spending proposal was being reviewed, Bass was also in a closed-door negotiation over a major boost in pay for the city's 3,300 firefighters. Those pay hikes 4 years of raises and an array of other financial incentives were not finalized until several months after her budget went into effect. The city council approved the firefighter raises in November, adding more than $53 million in additional salary costs. By then, the council had also signed off on $58 million for new fire trucks and other department purchases. Once those two lines were added, the fire department's operating budget actually grew by more than 7% compared to the prior fiscal year, according to the city's financial analysts.
Okay, so why wasn't the fire hydrants working? If the reservoir,
how the fuck does that respond with what I just said? By the way, Gavin Newsom is calling for an investigation into these fire hydrants.
Asking you a question.
Okay, when he's the governor of the state and he has the power through him and Congress to turn that shit back on.
Yeah. Do you know how a fire hydrant works? What the? Gavin Newsom can't just go out there because he's the governor and turn on a fire hydrant. What? He's called for investigation of these things,
so
and also
the governor of the state doesn't have certain type of powers like that to make sure that the fire hydrants are supposed to work, which is part of his job.
So again, Gavin Newsom, part of his job as governor is not to go to every fire hydrant in the state and make sure it's working with a wrench. Right? That's not his job as governor. So if fire hydrants go wrong, the governor doesn't control literally every aspect of the state. That's like saying if a fire hydrant goes wrong in North Carolina, Donald Trump should go control it.
Trump's going to take care of everything.
Oh yeah, Donald Trump's going to fix the fire hydrants. You know, that's of course for sure. That makes perfect sense. You're totally living in reality. That makes perfect sense. So this fire hydrants that you're talking about, again, GameStop microphone. I'm going to need you to stop talking. Go back to the Xbox 360. Nobody needs you here. The fire hydrants not working. By the way, I nobody can hear you. Like nobody. Like I'm genuinely. He just left. Let me just finish just what I was going to say to him. When he's screaming like that, nobody can hear them. But also, it was only a certain couple of fire hydrants that weren't working, or that were out of service. You might describe them as.
Sure.
It was only certain ones. It wasn't a wide swath of fire hydrants. So I don't know what this guy's talking about. He just has no concept of anything. No concept of anything. This guy's living in fantasy land. Fantasy land. MAGA fantasy land. What a terrible place to be. What a terrible place to be. I'd rather be literally anywhere else. Aubrey, thanks for the one. As an actual therapist, I need people to understand that Trump is a textbook narcissist. Yeah, I think, oh my God, Jaden Daniels is in the box. If you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll get you up. Avery, thanks for the one. I want to first say I love you, LOL, but also can we put an end to people who keep commenting? Harry, how many genders are there? Well, they're simple-minded people. Hannah, thanks for the 50 cents. How many genders are there? I appreciate you. Marcos, thanks for the 10. Thanks for everything you do. Love you, Dean and Parker's Live so much. Definitely thanks for being helping. I think you misspelled something there. Also, I'm auditioning for Juilliard's drama department on Friday. Oh, you'll do great. I have no doubt about it. Come on, fantastic.
Bring me up, bitch.
You'll do just wonderful. Yeah, let me up. It's Jaden Daniel, guys. Look, it's Jaden Daniel. Let me up on the MVP. Jaden Daniel, you're not the MVP. You might be the rookie MVP, but not the MVP. Jaden, thanks for the one. Hi, Harry. I hope your day was good today. I was waiting to hear your voice. Do you see this video? It's one of those guys who got pardoned, and the way he's speaking is disgusting. Who's on BBC. I will check out that video. Johan, thanks for the one. OM wants to debate you. Please school him. Oh, older millennial. Yeah, he's welcome to come up here. Desiree, thanks for the 10. Thank you. Thankful for you and the Fab Four have taught me so much and given myself the courage to stand up for myself and beliefs. I debated my cousins today. I was confident in my stances. Oh, Desiree, I'm so happy for you. You're amazing. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Water fun. Cece, thanks for the 50 cents. Check your DMs. You got it, Cece. I'll do my best to get to that. Also, what platform, though? That depends. Jordan, thanks for the 10. Please debate the older millennial. I just spammed his live to get him in yours. Is he still here? I don't know if he's... Let's see. He's not. He's not in the box, at least. Danielle, thanks for the 10. Don't need to read out loud. Oh, I appreciate that. Another 10 for your hair, always on point. Oh, I'm sorry, not to read out loud. I appreciate. No, Daniel, you don't have to worry about that. There's no problem. Jada, thanks for the 1. Thanks to you and the Core 4, I've applied and been selected for my seat on my city council's advisory board. So I can use my voice to advocate for those who need the most support in my community. That is fantastic. WU in the chat. You're fantastic. That's amazing. Paige, thanks for the $1. I graduated nursing school in May. I'm scared of the state of our healthcare system if he gets rid of the Affordable Care Act. He's very likely. Very likely. What's going on, man? You MAGA?
How you going?
Yeah, you MAGA?
Hello. I am, yeah.
Oh, look at this horrible person here. John, thanks for the 5. Sent more for your points on climate change. Scientists here, we can't let people believe it's a hoax. Very dangerous. Drilling that point in is the only drilling we should be doing. I like it. All right, why'd you vote for Donald Trump?
I love the man. He's going to save America.
Okay, why do you love the man?
Cheaper
If it
prices.
wasn't for him, you wouldn't be on here.
Peace in the
If it
world.
wasn't for him, you wouldn't be on here.
What state you vote in?
New York.
I don't buy it. Get out. All right, what do you want?
I don't buy it. Get out.
No, I just want to address a couple of your videos that I responded to.
No. Do you defend Donald Trump pardoning 1,500 January 6th insurrectionists, including those that were violent and those convicted of seditious conspiracy?
I think he definitely should have been much more judicious with those.
Do you condemn Donald Trump for doing that?
No.
Why not?
Well, I would have preferred he was more judicious with it. Mm-hmm. But again, here's the thing: do I disagree with the pardoning? No, because I don't think anything occurred on January 6th that is beyond the 4 years imprisonment they've had.
So beating police officers?
Again, nobody was unalived on January 6th besides a protester.
I'm asking about beating police officers. That doesn't respond to me asking about beating police officers.
Yeah, I think 4 years is enough.
For beating police officers and tasing them and beating with flagpoles and knocking them unconscious even?
Yeah, the actual average term for assault on a police officer is 1.5 years in prison.
Yeah, except when you combine it with other charges like going into the Capitol building when you're not supposed to, and the way and the manner that they assaulted the police officer, yeah, it's obviously a different story. So again, and also, for example, when it comes to sentencing, different things are factored in. Like, for example, does the person have remorse for beating the police officers? A lot of these people had no remorse for doing so.
Okay, and as I was saying, the average term in prison for assaulting a police officer is 1.5 years, and I don't.
So when you combine it with other charges, that's why it's higher.
Can I finish my sentence?
No.
Okay. Then why are we here? Because if I can't finish my sentence. So as I said, the average term for assaulting a police officer is 1.5 years in prison. So the other crime would have been trespassing, and I don't think trespassing should have 2.5 years. But here's the thing:
that's also not true. It's not necessarily just trespassing. The charge for a lot of these people wasn't trespassing.
You're 20 years old.
For example, was on Capitol grounds, which is when they're not supposed to be, which is different than trespassing. Trespassing can be a different charge. Of course, the people beating police officers different. There was people convicted of seditious conspiracy. Do you justify those people getting pardoned?
You mean the guy that was 7 states away?
Stewart Rhodes, for example. Yeah. Wait. Do you know what seditious conspiracy is?
Yes. I'm sorry, but I don't think the government was being taken over by people with no weapons.
Wait, there were people with weapons at the Capitol.
No, they weren't. The worst person had a knife.
Picking me off.
There was a person convicted with a gun at the Capitol.
Yes, a person.
Yeah, so there were weapons at the. You just said that there weren't weapons at the Capitol, and now that there is a person with a gun. There was also multiple people with guns.
Harry, are we going to pretend that these people were going to take over the government?
Wait, you're just wrong about the day. You're saying that there are people with. You're saying that there are people with no weapons. Then you say, oh, they only had knives. Well, only one person had a gun, and that's also not true. These people had weapons, and also they were using like flagpoles as weapons. They stole police shields as weapons. I mean, what are you talking about? There were people chanting blank Mike Pence, as you heard. And by the way, Donald Trump should be sitting in prison for everything that took place here.
Why?
Oh, I mean, conspiracy to defraud the United States government, conspiracy to intervene with a congressional proceeding.
Okay. And can I ask
and classified documents and all that stuff?
And can I ask real quick? So was the reproductive website shut down when Donald Trump took office?
Yeah, this was because of Donald Trump. But also, can you stay on topic, please?
No, I'm
asking you. Do you have to pivot? Do you have to pivot?
You keep pivoting.
It's not.
You pivot.
I see. Let me ask you this. This was something I was curious about. Unrelated. If we're pivoting, this is something I was curious about. Were you invited to any of the inaugural balls?
You pivot.
I was invited to the inauguration.
You're the king of the pivot.
Did you go?
No, because I have a job.
Were you invited to any of the parties that were hosted by anybody else?
Yes, 2 of them.
2 of them. What specific parties?
Well, I was invited to the party with Kai Trump, the inauguration. After that, I was invited. There wasn't a party with Kai Trump?
No, I don't know that one. I'm not saying
Okay, but I was invited to that.
Okay.
And then I was also invited by the Young Republicans to their party, two blocks off of Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
So I was invited to those.
Were you invited to the one that was hosted by TikTok?
No. God, no. TikTok's not going to invite me to anything.
Well, oh, yeah, right. It's just the Republicans will invite you to it. The Young Republicans.
Republicans will invite me to stuff, yeah.
Right. The guy that said he wants to throw disabled people off of mountains.
No. I called you disabled. I said...
No. You said... No, that's not what you said. We don't have to relitigate this, but we all saw the video. We all know what you said.
That's all good. Go roll with it. You tried to cancel me for it. It didn't work.
No, it's nobody tried to cancel you. We tried to call you out for what you said. This is holding you accountable for what you said.
That's funny, but here we are today.
Yeah. I just think that's fun. It really speaks to the character of Republicans when.
So can I ask you
Look at him. Look
No,
at
I'm
this
not done
kid's
speaking yet.
attitude.
So wait, okay. So when you're done,
So
I'd like
it
to
really
ask you
speaks to the character of Republicans
this kid
when
is
somebody
so
who advocated for
stuck up.
throwing people with disabilities off of mountains, they
You're
just like,
so
yeah, come to
stuck
the
up,
inauguration,
kid.
no problem.
Oh my
Come
God.
hang with
Grow
us.
up.
Yep.
Anyway, now you can speak. Yes.
Okay, good. So my question is, so
Grow
you
the
said
fuck up.
the reproductive.gov was shut down after Donald.
Wait. We're not done of our conversation on January.
Wait.
6th.
I literally just said I was going to ask you a question.
Yeah,
So
but we're not done on our conversation regarding January
you
6th.
said again, I don't care about January 6th.
Oh, I care about January 6th.
Okay, good. So again,
Okay, so let's finish our conversation there.
See, you
You were
wanna
taking
pivot.
objection
How
to
would you
Donald
like to
Trump
finish the
being in
conversation
prison for it.
about How would you like to finish the conversation about
Well, we were talking about, I think, Donald Trump's case
He keeps
regarding January
pivoting.
6th at that point.
it? So what about Donald Trump's case on January 6th?
Well, do you think it was valid? I mean, what's your criticism of it?
I don't, because he told them to peaceful and patriotically protest.
Okay, so when Donald Trump is telling everybody to come to January 6th and saying that it's going to be wild, and then when he's there, he's telling people you have to fight. If you don't fight, you won't have a country anymore.
Right.
When you see
your
fraud at
point?
this levels, you go by different rules. He knew
Right.
that
What's your
people were
point?
in the crowd were violent. He knew that people were planning violence on that day because the FBI and the Secret Service were telling him that there was going to be violence. They were briefing him on this. It was in his daily classified briefing. And then knowing that they were violent, knowing they wanted to be violent, knowing that they wanted to be violent, knowing that they had weapons, knowing what they were
Well, you
there
gotta
to
calm
do,
down.
he directed them to the Capitol
Calm
saying
down.
he was going to
Calm
join
down.
them.
Calm
And then
down.
when they
Take
broke
a
into the
breath.
Capitol, he
Take a
sat
breath.
there in his office for
Breath.
over
Take a
180
breath.
minutes and didn't tell them to go home. As a matter of fact, the first tweet he sent out after discovering the violence was criticizing Mike Pence, of which at that moment in time, people became more violent. We actually have video footage that matches up with Donald Trump's tweets. No objection to that?
Okay, good. First of all, take a breath. Your face is getting really red on this one.
My cheeks are always rosy. You watch enough of my videos to know that.
Take a breath. Just take a
You
breath.
watch enough of my videos to know my cheeks are always rosy. Come on now.
Take a breath.
Come on. You're like my biggest
take a
stalker on this
breath,
app. You
kid.
know that
All
by
I'm
now.
saying
Come on.
is-
Take
all
a
I'm
breath.
saying is take a
Relax.
Take a sip of water.
All I'm
Relax.
saying is take a breath, dude. That's all.
Take a sip of water.
I'm sorry. Was that too much information for you at once?
All I
You're
said,
still
no,
going.
I'm going to respond. All I said
Okay,
was take a
please.
breath.
He's
By the
still
way,
going.
if you thought, here's the thing: if you were worried about my interaction, maybe you don't send a cease and desist from a really expensive law firm, even though I own.
Well, when you
that.
spread false information about me, I have to take
Oh,
action.
I don't spread any false information about you.
Oh, no, you spread false information about me. Yeah.
Again, the only reason you're on TikTok is because your dad's rich. So stop.
My dad's rich?
Wait, are you gonna argue that your dad's not rich?
Yes.
You're gonna. So wait, what is your definition of rich?
Wait. First of all, yeah, that's exactly what
you're
I mean.
arguing your dad's not rich.
Yeah. So you're
Definition of
asking
rich.
for my definition. I'm
So
telling
what's
you.
your
Right now.
definition of rich?
First of all, my definition of rich is it's none of your damn business.
Oh, there we go.
So like you're asking. Wait. You're asking about my personal business. I'm not going to talk to you about my dad because you can't even argue the case regarding January 6th.
Talk about yours. That's the way it works.
Well, I mean, do you want to talk about your DUIs?
Again, yeah, I got two of them.
You get two
I've
of
already-
them.
I've already
How is
talked
that?
about 'em.
How does that
multiple videos
feel,
talking
my
about
man? How does that feel?
Listen to
Two
this
two
kid.
separate
You're 20
times. You were
years
so
old.
irresponsible that when you had substances that impair your judgment and your driving, you got on the road, got in your car and started
Right.
driving. Matter of fact, with one of these cases, we've seen the
Listen to
documents from Florida.
Right?
You crashed into a vehicle.
Yes,
I mean,
tractor trailer.
how irresponsible must you be?
And
So you
again,
have two DUIs. You have two DUIs.
This
Um,
kid, bro.
You
Let me know
know,
when I can talk.
you drink on
This
live
kid's
all
like
the
the
time. You
fucking
spread false
king of
information
canceling
online,
people.
and
Listen to him.
you can't even defend
20
your
years old.
views. Wow, this is
20
pretty
years
terrible.
old.
Pretty
Okay,
terrible,
so
my
now
man.
here we
Pretty
are,
terrible.
as we were saying. Now that you've expressed something that I've made, I think 17 videos about. Now I'm going to ask you.
It's not enough.
Now I'm going to ask you a question.
It's not enough.
You said that the reproductive website was taken.
Wait, you just said you were going to respond to what I said about January 6th, and now you're not responding.
Again, my response to January 6th is if Donald Trump was guilty of a crime, they would have charged him and convicted of them.
Oh, really? So you don't think that Epstein was guilty then, right?
Again, he died before he could be
Right,
he could
meaning
die.
that he wasn't
Is
convicted of
Donald
anything
Trump dead?
yet.
Is Donald Trump dead?
No, but he wasn't.
No, but
But
he's
by your
not.
principle,
What a
hold on. Your
weird
principle is that he
comparison.
wasn't
Listen to this
convicted,
kid,
meaning that you
man.
can't hold
What
him
a
accountable.
weird-
You can't.
what a
No, I don't.
weird
You can.
comparison.
You can keep crying. You can
What a
keep crying.
weird comparison.
I don't take criticism from people who have multiple DUIs and go after disabled people. So if your fundamental policy and belief is that if somebody's not convicted of something, then it's impossible to know if they did it. First of all, that's incredibly stupid. There's a difference between the court of law and the court of public opinion. The court of public opinion can review evidence and be like, yeah, it's incredibly likely that this person committed the crime. Just like, for example, with Donald Trump, Jack Smith released over 170 pages of evidence against Donald Trump committing the crime. And similarly with Jeffrey Epstein, you could say, wow, the evidence is against him is overwhelming, even though he wasn't convicted. We can say that he committed the crime. Right. I'm going to mute you now because I didn't want to have to do that, but I'm going to. No. Shut your mouth. No, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Be quiet. Be quiet. Under your view, under your view, you wouldn't be able to criticize Jeffrey Epstein because he wasn't convicted of anything. So can you at least retract that policy belief or that fundamental belief that you have and say, yeah, that was bad?
Again, there's a huge difference between somebody being brought to trial or somebody dying before they were brought to trial.
Hold on, time out. If your view is that he wasn't convicted, thus there's no way to know, that's a really stupid view because there are plenty of people out there who haven't been convicted of things of which society would accept that they did. So do you take that back or are you doubling down? Because if you're doubling down, then you'd have to say that Epstein, there's no way to know if he did the majority of the things that he was accused of.
Can I respond now?
That's typically how a conversation goes, yes.
No,
Can I respond now?
But I didn't know that it was 5 minutes of you talking and then I get to talk for 30 seconds.
Well, when you speak so unintelligently, I mean, the fact checking takes some time. So now you're able to proceed. Yes, I permit you.
And then he keeps...
I permit you.
Okay, awesome.
Dude,
awesome.
shut up.
By the way, if you're ripping off Sketch, that doesn't make you cooler, by the way.
I didn't know that Sketch owned putting up a finger. I didn't know that Sketch owned putting up a finger. Bro, you are permitted, though. You are permitted to speak now.
But it's this whole thing, by the way. You ripped off Sketch. That's so weird.
I didn't know that Sketch owned putting up a finger. By the way, Sketch is like a conservative who blocks me on TikTok. I don't even like Sketch.
Oh, my God.
I can't even talk. First of all,
okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You're permitted now. You're permitted.
God.
You're permitted.
Okay, as I was saying.
Go ahead, Joseph.
Oh, my. Dude, can I talk?
Shut up, kid.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Joseph, you're permitted. Go.
Just shut up.
Go ahead.
And Jesus Christ.
I said go ahead. Stop crying. You're such a snowflake. Stop being a snowflake.
Shut up.
Just go.
Oh my God, then
go, Joseph. Go speak. You're loud. You're permitted.
As I was saying, when it comes to you're comparing somebody, again, I'm not saying that just because somebody wasn't convicted of a crime that I can't say they didn't commit that crime. There's overwhelming evidence that what Epstein did, because somehow you made a weird comparison of Epstein, which is really weird thing to bring in, but that's perfectly fine. But so you said just because Epstein died before he was brought to trial, that he's obviously not guilty of anything if I'm doing that in the same line of thinking. No, the idea is that Donald Trump was available for prosecution for these things. The difference being that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't. He was going to be brought to prosecution for these things. I'm not saying Jeffrey Epstein was guilty because he was never brought to trial. What I'm saying is that if Donald Trump was guilty of something, that they would have brought charges for that and brought trial for it, but they didn't because let's be real. Over the last 4 years, again, all you had was Jack Smith, who put out a document as a prosecutor, and I would challenge you to find a document of a prosecutor who was unable to prosecute, who did not say that he would have found a conviction if it was brought to trial. There's never been that because that's what prosecutors do when they bring documents.
Robert Hur?
Because prosecutors who are not able to bring charges, they write a statement up saying that they
Robert Hur
proved that Joe Biden transferred classified information to an unauthorized source.
Wrong.
And the only reason he didn't bring...
Wrong.
Oh, wait, no.
Wrong.
You completely invalidated yourself.
No, wrong. It's completely false. Wait. Just time out. Robert Hur is a prosecutor who said that he couldn't get a conviction at trial. That's why he didn't bring charges.
Did Robert Hur show in that document
that
Joe Biden gave classified information to his ghostwriter?
No, Robert Hur. Wait. Time out. Robert Hur via his own words, could not find a violation of the law. So whatever you're talking about right here, in regards to the ghostwriter, there was some information I believe that Joe Biden might have shared with his ghostwriter that was classified. But the difference here is that Joe Biden didn't know the information was classified. There was no labeling of the marking or anything that from his. Just wait. You were just crying about being interrupted. You were crying. No, Joseph. You were crying about DUI, Joseph. You were just crying about being interrupted. DUI, Joseph. You were just crying about being interrupted.
Oh my God! Stop.
DUI, Joseph. You have to stop it. DUI, Joseph. You have to stop it. So the difference here is that with the classified document laws, you actually have to prove intent. You have to prove that Joe Biden knowingly shared classified information with a third party. There's no evidence, according to Robert Hur's own words, that he shared classified documents or classified information generally with a third party knowingly, right? There's no evidence of that. And that's Robert Hur's own words. Robert Hur specifically said that he could not find enough evidence to get a conviction at trial for Joe Biden based on the case that he was investigating. So not every prosecutor puts out a report saying that they could have gotten a prosecution at trial. Okay. That's just completely false. With Jack Smith, the evidence is overwhelming. Also,
can I respond?
No, not yet. I'm not done.
Okay,
they did bring Donald Trump to trial in New York. They convicted him of 34 felonies. He is a convicted felony. He was convicted felon. He was sentenced. And please, DUI Joseph, what was the reason Donald Trump didn't go to trial for his January 6th charges?
Okay, and just to quote Robert Hur, our investigation uncovered evidence that President Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified materials to unauthorized people after his vice presidency when he was a private citizen.
And read the conclusion of his report.
Oh, he said he couldn't prosecute him because he would come across as a
No, that's not what he said.
Yes, he did.
That's not what he said.
Actual statement.
That's not what he said.
Actual statement.
No.
Yes, he did.
No. Read.
Actual statement, dude.
You want to go quote for quote? Let's go quote for quote, as they'd say. Listen to this. We've concluded that there is not. This is Robert Hur, page in the introduction, actually, on page 1 of his executive summary. Ready? Let's go quote for quote. Quote, we have concluded that there is not a prosecutable case against Biden, although there was a basis to open the investigation based on the fact that classified documents were found in Biden's home and office space. That is insufficient to establish a crime was committed. The illegal retention or dissemination of national defense information requires that he knew of the existence of such documents and that he knew they contained national defense information. It is not a crime without those additional elements. Our investigation, after a thorough year-long review, concludes that there is an absence of such necessary proof. Indeed, we have found a number of innocent explanations as to which we found no contrary evidence to refute them and found affirmative evidence in support of them.
And again, the crucial thing here, it would be difficult to convince a jury that they should convict him by then a former president well into his 80s of a serious felony that requires a mental state of willfulness. So the reason he didn't prosecute is because Joe Biden does not have a good...
No. You just don't understand the law. A mental state of willfulness means intent. They cannot prosecute Biden of having intent to commit this crime because they couldn't find evidence of intent.
That's not true.
You just really? Where's
it's
the
not? Let
me read you the quote again. Let me read you the quote again. We have concluded that there is not a prosecutable case against Biden.
12 people over here on Kick.
I'm reading the quote to you again.
Go for it.
No problem. We have concluded that there is not a prosecutable case against Biden. Although there was basis to open the investigation,
who's on Kick right now?
Because we found classified documents in the case, the illegal retention or dissemination of national defense information requires that he knew of the existence of such documents and that he knew they contained national defense information. It is not a crime without those additional elements. Our investigation, after a thorough year-long review, concludes that there is an absence of such necessary proof. Indeed, we have found a number of innocent explanations as to which we found no contrary evidence to refute them and found affirmative evidence in support of them. So when you're talking about a mental state, that's what he's referencing. It's a mens rea. I don't know if you know what mens rea means. Probably not.
I do, but
you do.
But just to tell you that as a former member of the United States military with a TS security clearance, let me tell you right now that whether I intended to release TS security materials or I just lost TS security materials, both are prosecutable.
Nope.
You wait. Hold on. Wait. So wait. Let me just get this clear. You believe that if somebody unintentionally releases top secret classified materials to someone, they cannot be prosecuted.
Yeah. So, for example, if somebody has no evidence, wait. If there's no evidence of intent, and for example, Donald Trump retains a national defense document that's classified, whatever level of classification it has, If he just retains that document without intent and he discovers it and gives it back, there's no crime there. That's why Mike Pence, when he had classified documents in his house, there was no crime charged. But if you knowingly retain national defense information and release it, yeah, that's obviously a crime. It requires intent. Now, do you want more quotes from Special Counsel Robert Hur's report?
And again, first of all, there are multiple federal laws. In fact, I know these as a member of the United States military who had a TS.
I don't know the law.
Whether I knowingly or unknowingly disclosed top secret secure materials, I am still guilty of.
What's the statute? What's the statute in question?
Oh my God! He's just
okay. While you go away, I'll read some more quotes to you.
I want to ask you a question, but wait, before you go on, let me just ask you a question about it. So you honestly believe, because I think maybe I'm misunderstanding you, and I don't want to misunderstand you about
Go ahead.
So you believe that if somebody loses or discloses classified top secret materials, that if they did not intend to do it, that there is no crime to prosecute?
Yeah, at least under the statutes that Joe Biden and Donald Trump were investigated, there would be no crime.
Okay, so if I let's just say I was VP, right? Yep. And I lose classified material, or I give it to a ghostwriter, but I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to do that, right?
Yes.
That's not prosecutable.
Correct.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure we understand.
Okay, I'm going to read some more quotes to you, and specifically about the ghostwriter point, because listen, this actually responds to your quote exactly. Ready? Quote, Special Counsel Robert Hur, page 9 to 10. The evidence does not show that when Mr. Biden shared the specific passages with his ghostwriter, Mr. Biden knew the passages were classified and intended to share classified information. That responds directly to the topic you're talking about here regarding intent, whether he knew it or not. Page 221, we cannot prove that he knew the memo was classified when he left office. We cannot prove that retaining the memo, he willfully retained national defense information. Again, speaking to mens rea, speaking to intent. Page 332 to 333, these facts do not support a conclusion that Mr. Biden willfully retained and the marked classified documents in these binders. Page 221 to 222, we would likely be unable to refute Mr. Biden's claim that he did not know this. Page 170, we do not know whether Mr. Biden willfully retained the classified documents or consulted them when writing his book. Page 177, we cannot prove that Mr. Biden retained these classified documents willfully. Page 326, evidence does not suggest either that Mr. Biden retained the classified documents inside them willfully or that the documents contain national defense information. The quotes go on and on and on of Biden not having intent. But you know who did have intent? Donald Trump.
So who did Donald Trump disclose the classified information to?
Well, he was talking to a writer of a book when he was caught on audio. Yeah, when he was caught on audio. So this is actually evidence of him knowingly distributing classified documents.
Information to?
I'm telling you. So there was one member of his political action committee, of which this person testified to the special counsel under oath and shared that Donald Trump gave classified information to him. I believe this was the specific person that talked about nuclear submarines and our coordination with Australia on that. There's also audio of Donald Trump on audio saying, this document is classified. I could have declassified it. Now I can't. It's still secret.
But I do want to point out that he wasn't charged or convicted with it. So according to your standard, he didn't do it.
No, that's actually the standard that you were putting forward. That
no,
because yes, when you were saying that Donald Trump wasn't convicted of January 6th, he's like, you said, well, if there was a case, they would have brought him to trial and convicted him. The only reason that he wasn't brought to trial is because of him being elected president. Similarly with this, the only reason that Donald Trump wasn't brought to trial regarding the classified documents is because he got elected. The case would have been reinstated by the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, and he would have been absolutely prosecuted because, again, he's on audio acknowledging that he had classified documents, and he was showing them to people. He said they were classified. He said he could have declassified them. He said that they were still secret. That's intent.
Okay, so none of these have anything to do with where we are today.
Yeah, well, absolutely it does, because we have a criminal as president, somebody who stole classified documents.
That's fine. You can be upset about that. That's fine. But again, none of that matters to where we are today.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so again, does that mean that Donald Trump isn't president?
No, it absolutely means that Donald. It has no connection to Donald Trump being president or not, aside from the fact that he wasn't prosecuted because he got elected. But I don't think that the conversation about whether someone's a criminal or not should be like, oh, are they currently insulated from prosecution, or did they get elected to office, meaning they can't be prosecuted? No.
Call him a criminal. I don't care.
Is he a criminal?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, so he was convicted of 34 felonies. He's not a criminal.
Oh, you're talking about those? Sure.
No,
yeah.
I'm just talking generally.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's a felon.
He's a criminal.
Yeah, he's a felon. He's a criminal. Yeah.
Yeah. And so do you think that he broke the law in regards to classified document retention?
I don't.
Why not?
Because I think it's defensible whether or not a president can declassify documents. Yes, for one. Because who's the classification authority?
Yeah, when Donald Trump was on audio acknowledging in classified documents, he was not president.
Who is the only classification authority?
Yeah, the president. But when he acknowledged he had classified documents, he wasn't president. So how does that at all connect to the audio of him?
He could have been speaking of prior classified documents.
Really? Have you heard the audio?
I have.
You clearly haven't, because he was speaking about a document that he was showing people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So he wasn't charged or convicted of it.
He was charged.
He convicted of it?
No, he wasn't, because he got elected president.
So he's not a criminal.
Your defense of Trump not being convicted is simply because he got elected. That doesn't mean he didn't do it.
No, but that's fine. In 4 years, you get to charge him.
And they should. They should make sure that however old he is, he spends the rest of his life in prison. Georgia's charges are still valid, by the way.
For it. After 4 years, I hope you charge him. I hope you convict him. Do your thing.
Okay, great. I mean, that's fine. You still elected a criminal.
Against that. I don't argue against it. If you want to charge him with a crime, charge him.
Okay, so then why don't you think that Donald Trump broke the law in connection to classified documents?
Because I think the circumstances surrounding it don't lend themselves
What
to
circumstances?
Well, first of all, the president is capable of declassifying anything he wants.
He's on audio acknowledging it a classified document. That point you have to get off that point, because Donald Trump's own words refute yours.
Just because something was prior classified, you could refer to it as classified.
He is saying that he's saying that it's classified. He's saying that the document in his hand is classified.
Yes, it was, and he could have referred to it as prior classified. But again,
now you're putting words in his mouth. You're saying that he meant something that he didn't mean.
I'm not opposed to you prosecuting him for these.
I'm not asking if you're opposed to me or not me, but some lawyer, district attorney, attorney general prosecuting him once he leaves office. I'm asking, why don't you think he's guilty? You're bringing up bullshit reasons like, oh, he could have been referring to a document that was classified at one point. He said it's still classified. He specifically said it's still classified. It's still secret.
Again, every single person in this country is innocent until proven guilty. And that's the rule of law.
That does not, you see, that does not respond to at all anything I'm saying right now. I'm asking, why don't you think he's guilty?
Every single person, just like Joe Biden is innocent of every crime because he's never been proven guilty of anything.
Well, there's no crime that Joe Biden
committed. I get it, but he's innocent of every crime because
listen, Donald Trump's quote, "Isn't it amazing? This totally wins my case, except it's highly classified, secretive, secret information." Where in that statement do you get, oh, this document was once classified?
Again, he's innocent until proven guilty.
Wait, so okay, would you say the same thing about Epstein?
No, because he's dead.
Wait, hold on, but he was never convicted.
Again, but he did have a conspirator who was convicted, who named him in all these crimes.
Wait, just because there was a conspirator convicted doesn't mean that somebody's guilty. Obviously, the innocent until proven guilty applies to everybody. So would you say in your right mind that Epstein was innocent before he died? Even 1 second before he died, was he innocent?
Really weird to watch you defend Epstein.
My God.
No, absolutely not. I'm glad that guy, I wanted that guy to get convicted of every single thing against him. But what? No, come back. You're making a bad point here. Would you say that Epstein was innocent 1 second? Hold on.
Calm down.
Okay. Would you say that Epstein was innocent 1 second before he died?
No.
Wait, why not?
Because I don't think anybody who I think does that. Again, morally, I'm judging him.
You are completely contradicting yourself now.
No, I'm not, because I'm not legally judging Epstein. I'm morally judging him.
Oh, bruh, you're completely contradicting yourself. See, with somebody like Epstein, be quiet. With someone like Epstein, we would all collectively agree that he's absolutely guilty, and that guy, if he were still alive today, should spend the rest of his life in prison. Matter of fact, I'm against the death penalty. Could have had the death penalty. Wouldn't care. So glad that guy's gone. Couldn't care less. We would all agree that he's guilty. But when it comes to Donald Trump, and we have evidence of him breaking the law, it's on audio. We have text messages, video recordings, evidence that he tried to destroy the evidence that was subpoenaed. We have a declaration that Donald Trump had his lawyer sign saying they gave all the classified documents back when he knew they weren't given back. Then you say, well, he's innocent until proven guilty.
Okay, good. Now can we address current events?
No, because I just cooked you. You got to get out of here, buddy. Cooked. Anyway, that was fun. That was so fun. Oh, I love doing that, man. Can we get Law of the Wild up here? I want to get Law of the Wild's analysis of what we just discussed. Look at him. Get him up here. Hi, Law.
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
It's going good, man. How about yourself? Oh, man. Oh, he's up. Here he comes.
Hang on just a second.
Oh, yeah, he's plugging in his microphone. If you're MAGA, let us know in the chat. I'll bring you up. We can talk.
All right, I think I got you now.
Yep.
Yeah, so one thing I wanted to point out there is he kept saying classified documents, and the statute that he was charged with, 18 U.S.C. 793, has nothing to do with whether or not the documents were classified. It has to do with whether or not it was national defense in nature. So what Trump's defense is, well, these weren't even government documents. These were my personal documents. So his defense was, I get to declare that agency created reports about the nuclear capabilities of adversaries is a personal document, just like a love letter from Elon, or Stormy Daniels, I guess. Nowhere in there. But the other thing that I haven't heard a Trump supporter be able to actually defend is he was also charged with obstruction of justice. And that means that he was ordered by the courts to surrender all documents with classified markings. So that means everything that's marked classified, it doesn't matter whether or not you declassified it or not. If it has a classified marking on it, then we want it back. And he didn't return those. He returned 15 boxes of documents. They knew that he still had more. He had his attorney sign a letter saying, we've done a search and there's no other responsive documents. And then the FBI conducts their search warrant and finds, there's over 100 more documents with classified markings. If you get a subpoena that says we need you to turn over all of your boxers, and you don't turn over all of your boxers, that's obstruction of justice. It's just pure simple obstruction of justice.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah, the obstruction of justice charge in that case regarding the deletion of the video footage from Mar-a-Lago, or the subpoenaed video footage from Mar-a-Lago, is a really good point, because there is no defense.
And just the failure to return the responsive documents. If you say you conducted a search and then turns out you didn't return it and you knew that you still had them, which they were able to prove that he knew that he still had them, then that's obstruction of justice.
Thanks for watching YouTube. Peace out. Have a great day. Make sure you like and subscribe. Peace out.